Thank you. Let me start by telling you a story, a very short story. Once upon a time, a few months ago, the Dalai Lama was asked by a reporter. The reporter went to Dalai Lama and said, "Your Holiness, can you tell me what is the happiest moment in your life?" And the Dalai Lama said, "Right now." So right now is always the happiest moment in his life. And of course, the Dalai Lama at the time when he was making that answer, he was being a little bit naughty. However, I think he's illustrating a very important point, which is that a highly trained mind is capable of accessing joy at any time. A highly trained mind capable of accessing joy on demand. So how do we do that? How do we access joy on demand? So that's good news. The good news is that the mind is highly trainable. In that sense, the mind is like the body, right? The body can train to become strong. So for example, if you like take a heavy object and lift up and down, you develop strength. So, and if you have a body, and I hope you all do, I hope you try that out sometime. It's the same with the mind. Right? The body can be trained to acquire qualities such as strength. The mind can be trained with simple exercises to acquire qualities that are good for you. And specifically for this talk, I want to talk about simple exercises to develop joy. How do you do that? There are 3 very easy exercises that I'm going to share with you. And I guarantee you that if you do all these exercises, you will increase joy in your life. And these exercises are so simple, even I can do it. By the way, you didn't have to pay to come in, right? It's free, right? Okay, in that case, I give you a money-back guarantee that if it doesn't work, you get your money back. 3 simple exercises. The first exercise is the ability or training the ability to settle the mind. What does that mean? So let me give you an illustration. This is a snow globe. Imagine your mind is like a snow globe, and the mind is constantly agitated, right? Because it's agitated, see the snow is always up there, and then, so our mind, there's like, sometimes it's major agitation. We're angry, and so on. Anger, hatred, jealousy. But sometimes it's just minor agitation, annoyance, restlessness, dissatisfaction. The mind, or the lack of ability to concentrate, is always slightly agitated. Settling the mind means this. That's it. To settle the mind, to rest the mind. What does that do for you? Once you rest the mind, at least 3 qualities emerge in the mind. And if you look at a snow globe, once you settle the snow globe, after a while, the snow inside starts to settle down. And the snow globe acquires 2 qualities. The first quality is calmness, right? The water becomes calm. The second quality is clarity. So because the snow settles, you can see the whole globe. It's the same with the mind. Once you are able to rest and settle the mind, it develops these 2 qualities. The mind becomes calm and clear. There is a third quality that emerges in that mind. And the third quality is joy. The mind that is calm and clear is naturally joyful. Why? Makes no sense, right? So even for me, even after I've developed the ability to calm my mind on demand and to see the joy emerging, it didn't make sense to me. So I asked this question to Alan Wallace, who is an expert in this training in the Western world. And Alan said it's very simple. The reason a calm and clear mind leads to happiness is because that is the default state of mind. That is a natural state of mind. The default state of mind is happiness. There's no magic, right? All you are doing is to return the mind to its natural state, and that natural state is happiness. The first implication is now you have a sustainable source of joy. If you can calm the mind, you'll always be, if you can calm the mind anytime you want, you'll always be joyful. However, there's more. What that means is that you no longer have to pursue happiness, because happiness is already there all the time. You only have to access happiness. That is the biggest joke in the world, right? It changes everything about your life. So that ability. How do you develop this ability? It's embarrassingly simple. It is so simple, once I tell you, you're going to ask for your money back. The way to train this, the skill to settle the mind, is something called mindfulness. Mindfulness is defined as paying attention in a particular way. So not just paying attention in a way, moment to moment, non-judgmentally, without judging yourself. Anybody want to try a 10-second exercise? Just 10 seconds, okay? For 10 seconds, I want to invite you to bring attention to the breathing. That's all. Just bring attention to breathing. And then when attention wanders away, bring it back. Easy, right? Okay, shall we do that? 10 seconds. Beginning now. Okay, that was 10 seconds. How was that? Fairly easy. Calming, right? Very nice, right? You may wonder, what good does this do for you, right? You say, wait, I bring attention to my breath. You wonder, so where I bring it back. How can that possibly do me any good? And the answer is, again, back to the original analogy. This. Same question. I carry a heavy object, I let it go. I carry a heavy object, I let it go. How can this do me any good? Right? And you know, because every time you do this, you strengthen this a little bit. Same thing. Every time your attention wanders away, you bring it back. It's like doing one of this. Your muscles of your attention becomes a little bit stronger. So if you do a lot of this, the muscles of attention become so strong over time that you're able to settle attention on the breath for a long time. That is how it works. So that is how this simple exercise can help you learn the skill to settle your mind on demand. So try this out. This is going to change your life. But this is only step one. There's 2 more to go. It's like, but wait, there's more. The second practice is to attend to joy. Pay attention to joyful experiences. Yeah, what good does that do? So let me give you some example. When I'm eating delicious food, right? Bring full attention to eating. Okay? When you are holding hands with your loved one, pay attention to holding hands. When you're holding a baby that's not crying, of course. Crying baby is a different story. Holding a baby, pay attention to this experience. When you are taking a walk in the park, pay attention to the experience, full attention. Why does that work? The first thing, if you do that, automatically you double your joy. Why? Because you pay more attention to it. Right? That's all. So the same experience, you double the joy for no extra price. Right? It's the best deal on earth. So that's the first thing. If you do that, immediately you become more joyful. Because immediately you double your experience of joy. But it gets even better than that. But wait, there's more. Right? What is more? The second thing is neutral experiences start to become positive. Right? Things that we always thought are, doesn't matter. They become source of joy. How does that work? Let me give you an example. I ask you a question. How many of you have a toothache right now? Very bad toothache. Okay, nobody. Good. How many of you noticed you didn't have a toothache before I asked? Right? Nobody noticed, right, that I'm not in pain. Freedom from pain. If I'm in pain, like if I have a toothache, I wish to myself, if I don't have this pain, I'll be so happy. Right? And then, after a while, I don't have this pain anymore. What do? I forget to be happy. Why do I forget to be happy? Because I take this experience for granted. It's like freedom from pain. Such a beautiful thing. I forget to rejoice in it. And not just freedom from pain, like everything else. Like the ability to walk. That's a miracle. Walking on water is a miracle. We all know that. However, there's another miracle. Walking on the ground. That is a miracle, right? I mean, we go to church, right? And there's like people, they cannot walk and then they can walk. It's like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Or they cannot see and then they can see. It's a miracle. However, all of us here, we can all walk. We can all see. And when you forgot to say, oh my God, this is a miracle. This is a God-given miracle. We are all experiencing a miracle all the time. And we forget to rejoice. Therefore, by the simple experience of bringing attention to joy, we begin to see joy in what we thought was neutral. And then eventually, all those experiences become joyful experiences. And that is the second way increase joy. So homework for today, any experience that is even slightly joyful. If you're hungry, you get food. For 10 seconds, pay attention to food. If you're taking a walk, for 10 seconds, bring attention to walking. The joy of walking. If you're sitting with your friend, for 10 seconds, enjoy your friend fully. So try that out. 10 seconds, easy. Again, if you do that a lot, guaranteed to change your life because you realize what a miracle your life is. There's one more practice that's even more powerful than the first two. And you might wonder, what could be even more powerful than what I just said? And that practice is kindness. Kindness is intrinsically very rewarding. But instead of just saying, let me do an exercise. Before the exercise, there's something very important about kindness, which is that kindness can be framed as a mental habit, a habit of mind. And the habit of kindness is to look at a human being randomly, and the first thought in the mind comes up because it's a habit. The first thought is, I wish for this person to be happy. Right? I wish for this person to be happy. It's that you walk into a meeting room, you look at all those people in the meeting, you think, I wish for these people to be happy. What happens? It reflects in the body language. And unconsciously, they're picked up by the other people, and they all like you. And they don't really know why. Right? And you think it's because you're good looking. That's why they all like you. Story of my life. You know? So that's the first thing. But there are other effects. Happiness. And I'll tell you about that in a moment after we do an exercise. Shall we do the exercise of kindness? 10 seconds? Very easy. For 10 seconds, randomly identify 2 people in this room. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Just think. Think. And think, I wish for that person to be happy, and I wish for that person happy. That's it. Okay? Easy? 10 seconds, beginning now. Okay, time's up. How was the experience? Everybody is smiling. When you're wishing for somebody to be happy, you yourself become happy. Right? Yeah, it's amazing, right? if what I just said is true, then, my friends, you just discovered an inexhaustible source of happiness. All you have to do is randomly wishing for people to be happy. So a couple of months ago, I gave a talk, and I did this exercise, and then I make a suggestion at the spur of the moment. I say, okay, because it was a Monday night. So I say, okay, tomorrow you're all going back to work. I say, every hour, for 10 seconds, you randomly identify 2 people outside your office, and you wish for this person to be happy, wish for that person to be happy. Go back to work. That's it. I didn't expect anything to come out of that. So that was Monday. Wednesday morning, I received an email from a total stranger. This person said, I came to your talk on Monday, and I hate my job. I hate coming to work every single day. And I did your exercise. And yesterday was my happiest day in 7 years. Yeah. Kindness, my friends, it's good for your soul. Right? It's what God intends for you to do to your fellow human beings, and it increases your happiness. It's mind-blowing, right? Everything that are good for your soul and good for other people are good for you. And if you think about it, it's something even more powerful, which is that all the qualities, the saintly qualities, compassion, kindness, love, and so on, equanimity, they can all be framed as mental habits. And mental habits are highly trainable because the way to create a habit is to do it a lot. Therefore, if you just randomly wish for people to be happy a lot, it becomes a habit, the habit becomes you, and you become a kind person. And if it's the same for compassion and every other good quality, the saintly qualities, what does that mean? It means that we can all become saintly people with training, and training in ways that we all understand, because it's just creating mental habits. It's like mind-blowing. So I hope you do that. Any of these 3 exercises, I hope you try all 3 of them every day for a couple of seconds a day. And the 3 exercises are, anybody remembers? Settle the mind, okay? Attend to joy, and kindness, okay? So that's it. And I hope you'll start using these exercises starting from today. And I hope that all of you will live happily ever after. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.